Josh. Explain.
Like, both people are connected. They're not arguing.
Okay, so being connected as a team. Okay, cool.
Being reasonable.
Okay, reasonable. Sweet. Chris? Okay, attacking their plan. As the negative, you want to negate the resolution and attack their plan for the most part. Okay, unless you're running a counter plan or something of the sort. Chris?
Having some sort of goal or framework that the negative team can find their argumentation on.
Cohesiveness? Does that work? Sweet. Yeah, Jacob. Okay. So all of these are things you do in round. I want to talk about first off what you do before rounds, and then we'll move to the in round stuff because a lot of that's important. And a lot of these things that are you guys labeled as most important come from pre-round preparation. Okay? Yeah, Alan? Yeah. Oh yeah, anticipating what the other team's going to say. Very, very, very important. Okay, first aspect for negative is that you want to prep everything. Okay, and when I say prep, here's what I mean. You want to not only have a strategy against the cases that you know about, but you want to be comfortable and confident that that strategy is going to win. Okay, two aspects to prepping every case. First off, have your strategy. Secondly, be confident in it. And being confident in knowing that your strategy is going to win takes a lot of things. First off, it takes understanding all of your arguments. If you don't understand an argument, then don't include it in your brief. Secondly, it understands what the other team is going to say in response to it. So I had someone a couple months ago ask me, what makes a good argument? Like, think about that for a second. What makes a good argument? Throw out some things really quick, then I'll tell you what I told them. What makes a good argument? Yeah.
Sounds logical.
Okay, it sounds logical. Hopefully it is logical. Blake?
It's easy to understand.
Okay, easy to understand. Yeah, Colby?
But more abstract.
Okay. So logic, kind of. We're going along the same track. Okay. So it's logical. Yeah, Chloe?
Generally, you should believe in it.
Okay. Believe in it. Belief. Okay.
Something that the judge can relate to and understand and agree with.
Okay. Relatability. Yeah.
Something that wins you the round.
Something that wins you the round. Not always, but yeah. I mean, it depends on why you're debating.
In an ideal world, yes.
Yes. Okay, cool. I told them two things. First off, that it makes sense. Actually, I told them three things. First off, that it makes sense. Okay? Very important for having good arguments, is that it makes sense. Secondly, that you believe in it. Like Claire said, when you believe in an argument, you make it better. Okay? That's generally you present arguments you believe in much more fluently and cohesively and more persuasively than arguments that you don't believe in. And the third thing I told them the aspect of good arguments had for debate rounds was your second layer responses are absolutely killer. Okay? Here's what I mean by second layer responses. So when you present your initial argument, they get up and respond to it. Your responses to their responses are the second layer of your argument. Okay? That's where good arguments and great arguments are separated from the ones that are really weak. Because they'll see a lot of teams come up there and they'll have like a good first initial argument. The other team will respond to it, and then their responses to the affirmative team's responses are really lame, really dinky, and stuff like that. These second layer responses are where you just brutally murder what the other team just said in response to your argument. Because it should be true, and it's really easy to argue for the truth. Okay? Second layer responses are crucial, because generally, good second layer responses are things that the other team can't recover from. So if in the 1NC you presented your arguments, they get up and respond to it in the 2AC, you present your second layer responses in the 2NC, in the 1NR, and you just kill it, that means they've got the 1AR and the 2AR to respond to those brutal responses. And that's really hard to do. You're time constrained in everything, and it's really hard to overcome good responses to different things like that. Okay? Another aspect of pre-round preparation, or just pre-round, aside from preparation, is being on the same page with your partner. Very, very, very important. Okay, so who was it who threw out there like being a team? Who threw that out there? Someone. Okay, someone threw out there being cohesive and being a team, and that's absolutely no. It was Josh. That's okay. Cool. Wait, where's Josh? There you are. Okay, sweet. You threw that out there. Being a team is absolutely vital. What I see in I judged 3 rounds last year because I couldn't bring. First off, I can't judge a lot of people because I know them. Secondly, I just couldn't bring myself to judge a lot of rounds. Okay, so And something I saw in all of the rounds is it was just two debaters who happened to be arguing for the same side, sitting at the same table. That's just what it looked like. They didn't look like a team. They weren't connected. They weren't on the same page. They weren't arguing the same things, bouncing off of what the other person says, using the cross-ex questions that their partner asked, anything of the sort. Just looked like two debaters who were up there who happened to be arguing for the same side. That's not what you want. You want when the judge looks at you and hears your arguments and hears what you're saying, that they're like, wow, they're a team. They thought about this strategy beforehand. They talked about this strategy beforehand, and they came into the round prepared to argue the same thing for the same side.
And a big part about that is having good in-round chemistry with your partner. Like, you know, a forced friendship can only get you so far, and it really shows in-round if you guys aren't on the same page, aren't interacting outside of round. It's really important to kind of understand where your partner is coming from and find a way to interact in-round in a way that shows you guys as a cohesive unit.
Yeah.
Which means no arguing at the prep table.
Yes, don't argue at the prep table. So when your partner sits down from their speech, don't just lean over and go like, da-da-da-da-da, you dropped this argument, and this argument, okay? Don't do stuff like that.
My partner did that a lot.
Oh, he did it to me too.
And it makes him feel like Graham Stacy does that a lot.
Yeah.
And he means well, but it also makes you feel like garbage for like the rest of the debate round. So.
Yeah.
What I ended up, because Ty's partner is now my partner, because when Ty graduated, he moved on to me. But what we ended up working on all year was like timing of responses, because this is something I've had a lot of trouble with partners before. Just if you're going to critique, save your critique for after the round, because chances are they do not want to hear it.
Yeah. I would say that most debates are won in the pre-round stage, in preparation and different things like that. Execution's important. I personally think pre-round is probably what separates. Okay, so I'll give my spiel on this. Debate is at the margins, meaning that most debates that are won or lost aren't just blowouts one way or the other. Most debates, slim margins that separate one team from the other. Different things like these, being cohesive, looking like a team instead of two debaters on the same side, adds to the margins and helps you win those closer debates. Yeah, Hannah.
When you say have a strategy with your teammate before the round begins,
Yeah.
are you talking about a general strategy or in a scenario where you actually know the affirmative team's case?
I mean specific to the affirmative team's case. So, because you can't, it's really hard to have just like a general strategy that's going to apply to whatever case you hit. So I'm assuming, we'll talk about squirrel cases in a second. So like cases that you hit that you didn't know were coming, kind of a thing. But for the most part, do you guys have like a case list in your league where, oh, you don't have anything like that?
We have no idea what case is running unless we have recognized them from a previous tournament.
Okay. So I'm actually curious about your league. Are there a lot of wide variety of cases that are run, or just kind of, yeah?
A wide variety, yes, but you do get to know the case to prepare strategy going into the first tournament without a case list.
Okay. Yeah, Noah, do you go?
We also, it's not just our league, like go to a lot of Northern Virginia Stiller tournaments, so we don't necessarily know like what people are.
Okay, sweet. Do you want to go, Claire, on this?
Okay, yeah, real quick on that, I did have a comment on what you were saying earlier about general versus specific structure. My partner and I spent a whole lot of time on specific case strategies. Like, I think Ryan did this too. Like, we mapped out specific arguments, what position we were going to give those arguments in, who was going to cover them. We even started giving practice 1 and C's by the time regionals came around. So we had values mapped out, we had responses were mapped out, we even mapped out some of the rhetoric we were going to use. That's a very specific structure that a lot of teams embrace. It's really effective when you are that prepared to go into a debate round. That was a big part of us being confident in our argumentation. But on the other side, you do have a level of just generic strategy that you need to be embracing with your partner, like who is going to have what persona in the round. My partner and I have a very similar persona outside of round. We're both talk a lot. We both are just basically we come off as like intellectuals that are very stubborn about what we believe. So in round, one of us had to kind of soften up. So stuff like that is like a general strategy, plus like general structures that you like using in a debate round is something that should be decided before you even start the year.
Okay, but going into like the first tournament of the year, yeah, JP.
I got a question. As a novice, I kind of make the mistake of asking people what they're running before the round, which, you know, I eventually got told by like the third tournament that I wasn't supposed to be doing that, and so I haven't done that since then. But what happens if you're going into
Yes.
If you're debating a
Here-
novice, chances are you're not going to lose ground anyway. Them knowing your case 10 minutes before you start meeting your 1AC will not be the end of the world. It's honestly a nice way to like make someone's first tournament not a miserable experience, quite honestly. You know, the more you can do for the novice debater, the better that our league will be, or your league will be.
Cool. I don't know if I'm going to get to give this talk in another time, so I'll just give it now.
Oh, here.
Thank you. Why do you debate? Someone throw it out there. Yeah, Noah. Because it's fun? Okay. Yeah, Gabe.
Because it helps you change your positions to the truth and convince other people.
Identify truth. Sweet. Trains you? Okay. Okay. If you don't actually believe it, don't say it. Okay. Dustin.